Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. I'm Melissa K. Ampal. In social work, a research question is clearly defined and focused inquiry that addresses a social issue, practice challenge, or a policy concern. It helps guide the research process toward finding solutions that promote social justice and improve well-being. Questions guides the entire research process. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Characteristic of a good social work research questions: relevant to social work practice or policy, focus on vulnerable or marginalized populations, actions-oriented or solutions-focused, researchable through qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. Hypothesis in social work is a tentative, testable predictions about the relationship between variables related to human behavior, social system, or interventions. Null hypothesis, HO, no relationship or effect exists. Example, participation in youth programs has no effect on school attendance. Alternative hypothesis, H1, a relationship or effect does exist. Example, participation in youth programs improves school attendance among at-risk adolescents. Characteristics, grounded in theory in existing literature, testable using appropriate research methods, addresses real-world problems in social work, ethically sound and inclusive. Research questions and hypotheses guide the investigation of social issues like poverty, abuse, inequality, and mental health. Help assist the effectiveness of interventions or programs. Support evidence-based practice, promote advocacy and policy change based on research findings. Domestic violence intervention. Examples. Research question: what is the impact of trauma-informed care on self-esteem levels in survivors of domestic violence? HO, or the null hypothesis, trauma-informed care has no effect on self-esteem levels in survivors of domestic violence. H1, or the alternative hypothesis, trauma-informed care improves self-esteem levels in survivors of domestic violence. In social work, research questions are focused inquiries that guide the study of social problems, practices, or policies. They help identify issues affecting vulnerable populations in aim to find practical, ethical, and culturally sensitive solutions. Hypotheses are testable predictions about relationship between variables used to evaluate the impact of interventions or behaviors. They can be a null or no effect, or alternative on effect exist. Together, research questions and hypotheses are essential for evidence-based practice, program evaluations, and driving social change through informed policy and advocacy.
I am Shaggy Farinyasa Asalamhan, a reporter from Group 1, and the given question to me is relevant to social work practice. In research, relevant to social work practice means that the study should directly contribute to improving how social works understand, assess, and empowers individuals, families, and communities. Social work is a practice-based profession, so research should not remain purely theoretical, it must provide insights that can be applied in a real-life practice. Relevant to social work practice means that research should help social workers improve their work with individuals, families, and communities. Create effective research, provide evidence that guides intervention, create effective programs, influence policies, respect culture, and empower marginalized groups. To be in short, it ensures that social work practice is evidence-based, practical, and responsive to real community needs. Just like, for example, research on coping mechanism of a single mother can help social works design better support programs. Reference Gray M. Platt D. and Webb S. A. 2009, Evidence-Based Social Work, a Critical Stains Routledge. That's all, and thank you.
Integrating indigenous perspectives. Social work practice should incorporate the values, knowledge, and traditions of indigenous communities. So this is the very important thing that we should do so that we did not misunderstood each other. We should respect their cultures and traditions. And this approach recognizes the unique cultural strength and perspective of indigenous peoples, promoting culturally sensitive and respectful intervention. So, example, in working with indigenous families, social workers might integrate traditional healing practices or involve community elders in the care process.
Now we are going to explain the community priorities in research design. So when we say community priorities and research designs, means that the needs, concerns, and voices of the community being studied are considered when planning and conducting research. Instead of research being only academic driven, it becomes community centered and participatory. So it means, guys, we should not only be about what we want to study, but also about what the community really needs and cares about. So guys, pag sinabi nating community priorities in research designs, kung ano yung naisa sa mga problema ng iyong community. Tutulad ng napili naming research title, which is about the early marriage. So, isa po yun sa mga problema na naobserbahan po namin dito sa Holusulu. So, hindi lang po namin gagawin yun upang may maipasa kaming research, but also we want to help to reduce the case of early marriage here in our community, which is the Holusulu. So, we should also listen to the voice of the people, understand their problems, struggles, and goals. So we should also respect the culture and traditions, avoid imposing outside ideas that don't fit the community's context. So kailangan sa paggawa din ng community and research design, wala tayong inaapakan na kultura at tradition. So sabi nga ni Sir, hindi tayo pwede maggamit ng sarili nating paniniwala. So once again po, research should serve the community, not just the researcher. It should be designed in a way that reflect the community problems, culture, and aspirations, making the study more ethical, practical, and impactful. Yun lang po.